Hi, this is Vic Mignogna, voice of Edward Elric in Full Metal Alchemist. Captain Kirk in Star Trek continues. And do you know what the best podcast is? I'm going to tell you. Five-ish Fangirls, yeah!
The tangents and squeak continue all the way to episode 167 of the Five-ish Fangirls podcast. Oh, there it is, silly old universe. The more I save it, the more it needs saving. It's a treadmill. Yes, I know. They'll get it all wrong without me. Well, I suppose one more lifetime won't kill anyone. Well, except me. Welcome, everyone, to this week's episode of the Five-ish Fangirls podcast. So glad you could join us. Let's start off like we do every week. We'll go on the virtual table and see who's joined us this week.
This is Brittany in Bethlehem.
This is Chrissy in Salt Lake City.
This is Holly from Wisconsin.
And this is Rachel, currently in South Bend, Indiana. Welcome, everyone. Hello.
Hi, everybody. Hope
Hello.
y'all had a Merry Christmas.
Yes.
Got all the
the
goodies you wanted.
We were just comparing gifts.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you get?
Yeah. The fun part of having a baby at Christmas, baby with first Christmas, it's more fun to buy for the baby and see him.
Yeah.
And see all his new stuff. Like, I got some cool things, but
Well, and yet that age too, you know, they're like, you know,
wrapping paper and boxes.
Well, you know, the motor skills aren't quite there yet, so then you technically get to play with the toys to show them how to play with the toys. So.
Mm-hmm.
Although he's figured out how the links work that are
So, I got a few nerdy, geeky things. I got a Doctor Who t-shirt. And I got a new sonic screwdriver. I got the 5th Doctor sonic screwdriver because Chauncey couldn't remember which sonic screwdriver I needed and or wanted. So that's the one he managed to get at the last minute before Christmas. Which it's close enough to the 4th Doctor Sonic. I can use it when I cosplay my 4th Doctor. So
when the 5th Doctor had the Sonic, it was the 4th Doctor's leftover.
Slight color variation on the toy, because if you buy the one that specifically says it's a 4th Doctor, the color is slightly different, I think. But yeah, it's essentially the same Sonic screwdriver. I need the 10th Doctor Sonic's what I need, but this will work too because I do have a cosplay that goes with it. So, and then I got a Doctor Who coloring book, and I got the dot to dot. So, which nice. I got those from my nieces, and I told their mom, I was like, "Do you know how hard the dot to dot is? How hard to get the dot to dot is?" She's like, "I didn't know." I was like, apparently she's got a source. She's like, "I can get you like a case of them." I'm like, "Yes, please." So.
Trial and error.
Yeah, really. Yes. I opened up. I'd never seen the dot to dot before though, and I opened it up. I'm like, "Oh my god, that's a lot of dots."
Yeah, so it is.
This is not your kids' connect the dots
it's
book.
It's not kid-friendly, no. Trust me, I finished mine.
Yeah.
Have an afternoon free with no distractions and go for it.
Good erasable pencil, you know.
Mechanical one at that.
Yeah, super fine point and a really good eraser. So.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was like, 1,000.
Some are less than others.
Yeah, still. Woo. So. Oh, anyone else get anything good while we're sharing?
I guess. Go ahead, Chrissy.
I just, I bought this for myself. It was out of a Kickstarter. It really wasn't for Christmas, but it came right around Christmas, so I said, what the heck. It was the 4th book in the Rhaenyra Chronicles. There's cool. Yeah, and it's the signed limited edition. They were doing a Kickstarter to do hardcover copies, so I supported it, and I got the book and the T-shirt, and I got a bunch of Funko Pop Sailor Moon Funko Pops, and the second half of the 3rd season on DVD, and the movie on Blu-ray.
Cool,
nice. So that was fun.
Yeah, I got some
gift cards and money.
Yeah.
Got some Star Wars Funkos, and then a few of the Legends of the Force I got the Princess Leia's and the Rey for my folks. And I was like, aw. Because then I was just like, when I saw them, I thought of you. I wish they would have made something like that when you were younger, so you're getting them now.
Hey, that works.
Neat.
Mm-hmm.
You appreciate them more now.
Yep. And I got the Princess Leia one where she's in her Endor garb, camel, and then it also comes with the dress, and it came with a little wicket.
Nice.
That's fuzzy, and then the other Princess Leia came with an R2-D2 and Hoth, and then the Rey I got had BB-8. I was like, oh, you precious little cinnamon roll.
Yeah.
My doggies were sniffing and eyeing up. I'm like, no, those are mine.
It's like, those stay with mommy.
Yes. Those are not your chew toys. No squeakers. Those aren't the droids you're looking for.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Brittany, did you get anything?
I didn't get
Geeky?
really too much. Like I said, our family, we kind of, Christmas just came at us, so we didn't really do much.
Yeah.
But I got gift cards. You can bet I'm buying some geeky stuff with them.
Oh, yeah.
And then I got my sister got me this Zelda ugly sweater coffee mug. It's actually really cute. And then jokingly, she gave me an Amazon gift card. I was gonna give her a Walmart gift card, but that didn't happen. In case anyone doesn't know, I work for Walmart. My sister works for Amazon.
That's funny. But you can buy all sorts of geeky stuff from both of those companies.
Exactly.
Oh, cool. Well, hopefully our listeners, if anyone got anything cool and exciting geeky related and wants to share, tag us on Instagram or share on Facebook or something. So look to see what everyone got for Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or whatever it is, Festivus, whatever it is you decided to celebrate.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's get into the news. Not a whole lot of news. It's been quiet, which, considering it's been a holiday for a lot of people, I guess that's to be expected.
Yeah.
Unlike last year, but we're not going to talk about this time last year, so...
It was like the first thing that popped up on my time hop. I'm like, I did not need to remember that. Thank you.
Fitting that we went and saw The Last Jedi again today. So at the end, it's like,
I went and saw it yesterday, and I was able to just sort of forget that she's passed away until the end. In the credits, it says "in loving memory of Carrie Fisher," and I was like, I was doing so good.
Yeah. Yeah, we were talking about it on the drive home. They're like, my mother-in-law is like, didn't she die? I'm like, yeah, a year ago today. Today's the anniversary of her death. Anyway, well, we'll talk about that and more when we talk Star Wars next episode. So.
Yes.
We will do The Last Jedi next week. Anyway, first news.
So get your feedbacks in.
Yes. First news. First, some convention announcements. Unfortunately for Planet Comic-Con, Alex Kingston has had to cancel her appearance. So apparently she's had to cancel all February convention appearances. So it's not just Planet Comic-Con. That just happens to be the one we talk about. So
darn.
Yep.
Sure. It's for a good reason.
Yep. Filming.
Being something. Yeah, filming. It's usually what happens.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Yeah. But
I'm kind of curious of what she's filming.
Yeah. Right.
I know. In a few months, look and see if she's in something. You're like, oh, that's what she was doing. Cool.
Probably. And then in Chrissy's neck of the woods,
yes, these two were actually announced on
Salt Lake.
Yeah, they're actually announced
whatever
on
they're calling themselves
Christmas. Now. It's still Salt Lake Comic-Con. Yeah. San Diego can suck it.
Yeah.
Can we say that on the podcast? I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
So Salt Lake Comic-Con, whether or not it's still the official name, I don't care. Yeah. They announced 2 guests for next September. Gaten
Matarazzo.
I think that's how you say his name. From
Yes.
Yeah, Razzo from Stranger Things. Him, yes. He's going to be in. He's going to be in Salt Lake. I think he's done a lot of stuff locally, just like with his charity work and things. So I kind of wonder. I'd have to look up if he has like some sort of local connection. But anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next big guest announcement is the Pink Power Ranger, original Pink Power Ranger, Amy Jo Johnson, is
the double J.
coming.
What?
I was like, yay! And Jason David Frank has been to Salt Lake before, so I'm kind of crossing my fingers that he'll be back and they'll do like some combo photo ops or something. I'm like, please.
I will continue to reiterate this statement as more and more convention announcements are made for 2018. Expect to see a lot of Power Rangers.
That is true.
It's an anniversary year for the franchise, so expect a lot of Power Rangers at a lot of conventions. So
I looked up Gaten, see if he was like from Utah, but he's not. He's actually from New Jersey.
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I'd seen him a lot in this like local news things, like highlighting some of his charity work and that it's affected people from Utah, and I'm like, it's like you're popping up a lot of places. I'm like, I don't think you're from here, but maybe. And I looked up, like, yeah, you're not, but I don't know, maybe his family or something. I don't know, but I just think he's cool regardless.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's awesome. So
yeah, that's pretty exciting. So, yay!
And then
conventions. And then really our other piece of news, a big, I guess, Christmas present from the folks over at Star Trek Continues is they've made pretty much everything available for download for free, including all the episodes, artwork, soundtracks, like anything you could want on like a DVD or Blu-ray. You can just go download it.
Yeah, I mean, and they even say in their little press release announcement thing, it's like, because they can't make money off of this, but people have asked if, that they want to have Blu-ray and DVD copies available.
Mm-hmm.
So they just said, well, here's the files. You can make your own.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool. Although they did say that when they first made the announcement, it kind of burned through their servers. So they're like, we got to do this a little different. But so they took the episodes down just temporarily until they could get things figured out a little bit better. But the artwork and stuff is still
full size.
Is still there as far as I'm aware.
Artwork inserts, disc art. So when you burn those DVDs or Blu-rays and you want to put the artwork on it, you can do that too. Full size 24 by 36 posters, a never before seen Star Trek Continues series poster that Vic himself created. All the shooting scripts are available for download.
I love
all of the original music and the artwork and disc art for the music is available as well. So it's like pretty much Star Trek Continues is available for download for free. There you go. Merry Christmas.
So
can you imagine this like something you would have to pay? This would have been like so much money.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it just kind of keeps going to show like this was a labor of love. This wasn't so that they could make money off it and make a profit. It was, this is a fan work. Then they just wanted to just kind of do it. And I mean, I suppose they could have charged and had the money go to charity or something, but I guess just to avoid any illegal debacles or whatever, they just said, here, you take it and do it. It's free. So I was like, that's neat.
And the DVDs like extras, like bloopers and
yeah.
Well, and a lot of that stuff's on their YouTube channel anyway, or YouTube and wherever else they've posted them.
Yeah,
true.
But if you want an offline copy, then go for it.
So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, really.
That is pretty awesome. So.
And given the level of work that's gone into every episode, this whole series, it's just, you guys are wonderful.
Yep. Thanks, Vic, and everyone else.
Yes.
We really appreciate it. That's really it. Like I said, it was kind of quiet.
Yep. A little bit of housekeeping. You have a few more days for the Goodreads book poll for the Traveling the Vortex Doctor Who book club.
Yeah. So get those votes in.
Pick the first book of 2018.
Yes.
Yes.
As scary as that
Start. Start 2018.
Have you guys been seeing those things on Facebook? Like if you saw a certain movie at a certain time, they would have
or a song and like some like significant event. Like if you start Die Hard at this time, Hans Gruber will fall off of Nakatomi Tower at exactly midnight. Yeah. Start Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, and at midnight, Hermione will punch Draco in the nose.
Now, okay, I actually did this with a friend several years ago. It was for Pi Day 314, and we watched Pride and Prejudice, the 5-hour miniseries, all day. Just the hours. I like Jane Austen. The friend I was watching it with, she is like a devotee of Jane Austen, and so she had it all figured out. I don't know if she depended on an internet site or a website to tell her, but I was like, that's impressive. I'm like, yeah, I'll come watch that with you and have pie. And
I'm always
it was supposed to be a big party, but I think I was the only one that showed up. But it was fun anyway. Sorry, Alex was grabbing the microphone.
He's like, this is my opinion. Yeah, I've seen a lot of them.
You were talking about.
Yeah.
Yes. Not for a few years, dear.
If I knew that I was going to be inside and not socializing on New Year's Eve, I would probably like plan one of those things. But we tend to normally go out to someone else's house, so I would not have control over music and or movies. But yeah, that's fun. So, but yeah, 2018, that's almost here. Very scary.
Yep.
Very scary.
Do you realize that in a couple of years, it will be 20 years since the year 2000?
Yeah.
That's hard to believe.
That's scary.
We were.
Yeah, I mean, for a lot of us, or most of the world, like 2000 was this great futuristic thing, and now it's like we're doing nostalgic things for the 2000s.
Yeah.
It's really bizarre.
I remember because everyone was so afraid with Y2K and like all the electronics. My mom was stocking up on all like the cans and non-perishables, and then boop, nothing happened.
Yeah.
I just think like my kids will think of the year 2000 the way I thought of the 60s and 70s with my parents. It's like it was so long ago.
Oh, goodness.
We're gonna have to as time goes on, we'll do more episodes where we're retro looking back at something that in our mind was like, oh, that was last week, and really it was like 20 years ago. So.
Yeah. I was like, that happened. Oh, when I was in high school. Oh wait, I was in high school.
Yeah.
Somehow years ago.
Yeah. But anyway.
Seems just like yesterday.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's. We're not going to look into the future quite yet.
No.
We're going to look into the recent past, aka 2 days ago, as we're recording this on Christmas. So. As much as I don't want to, because if I don't talk about it, then maybe it didn't really happen, but... Because I don't want to cry again, but...
Yeah.
But, yeah. 2 days ago was Christmas, and therefore that meant Doctor Who Christmas Special, which most of the time that's a pleasant experience. Not that this wasn't unpleasant. It was actually a very good episode, but it did mean the end of Peter Capaldi's tenure as the Doctor. He did regenerate, and I was not happy about it whatsoever.
No, me neither. I'm sitting there watching it like, I am so gonna miss you. And that's kind of the default time frame that the doctors leave. But it's just like, ugh, you've been so good.
Yes.
And doesn't it help that there's been like a big break?
Yeah.
Between the seasons.
Yeah.
That is true. Yeah, the break kind of makes you feel separated from it. And then, it doesn't come back until, I don't know when.
Not Easter Saturday.
not Easter, because they would have probably started filming already, at least a little, like the preliminary.
I don't think there's been an official, like, specific date announcement, but everyone's speculating it's probably going to be, like, August-ish. So.
Okay.
Yeah. But.
A return to the fall schedule, then.
Probably. More than likely. But anyway, Twice Upon a Time was this year's Christmas special. I mean, as far as Christmas specials go, I mean, this wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't very Christmassy. Usually, you got like...
No. Although I did like... I guess this is kind of jumping around. At the end, when I realized, it's World War I, 1914, and it's the Christmas truce, I'm like, okay, that is an appropriate...
That was awesome.
Yeah.
When I saw them, like, oh, are they going to do it? And as soon as they started singing Silent Night in German, I'm like, yes, they did it. Historical, and it was just, I had goosebumps. It was just,
me too.
Perfect.
It was done so beautifully. I love it.
Yeah.
Jared was watching with me. I think he actually teared up, but
I did.
He was like, no.
When all the soldiers started singing, and I was like, I had like goosebumps on goosebumps.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that song makes me teary-eyed on normal circumstances.
Yeah.
During this episode, this made it worse.
I mean, it's a beautiful thing. We've had this whole this episode with this soldier that gets pulled out of his appropriate time, and we are under the assumption that he was supposed to die there in the trenches because we see him having essentially this Mexican standoff with this German soldier, seeing who's gonna pull the trigger first. So we just all assume that this guy, once he gets returned to his time, is probably gonna die. So, he gets returned, and they start singing, and you realize, no, this is this historical Christmas truce. And it's so moving. And then, of course, also in the back of my head, I'm like, okay, the episode's almost over. That means the regeneration's coming.
So they get you in the emotional gut punch early, which, I mean, I should have, and this is the thing, I should have suspected, because all of Steven Moffat's Christmas specials have had some connection to Christmas. And throughout the thing, it's like, okay, I mean, because he did mention, the captain did mention, I promised my wife I'll be home for Christmas. And I thought the doctor was like, well, maybe he's going to take him home, and they'll let him have Christmas and then take him back to where he's, supposed to die, or, whatever. But no, he took him to the same place, just kind of adjusted. He said he adjusted an hour or so.
Couple hours,
and said, okay, now it's Christmas, and so it's the time for the truce.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, wow, that was
good on the BBC publicity for not spoiling who Mark Gatiss' captain character actually.
I had a feeling when he was talking to Bill, and he said something about the family back home at Cromer, and I was like, oh, are you a Lethbridge Stewart? He's got to be a tie. He has to have a tie to the Brigadier. So.
Back at the end of the regular season, when they had the preview for Christmas, and you see Mark Gatiss' character, my brother-in-law said, "I think that's the Brigadier." I'm like, "No, it can't be, because the uniform is
wrong.
It doesn't work."
Yeah.
And so I was like, "No, it's not the Brigadier. He's just some random soldier."
Yeah.
And it's like, "Well, no, there is a connection." And I did see Candy Jar Books on their Facebook page put up a thing about, oh yeah, this guy is the Brigadier's great uncle. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's supposedly canon coming from Candy Jar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they have the license. Although now I'm like, I gotta go back to the Candy Jar novels and see has this uncle ever been mentioned, even just in passing, or something, because that would be really cool for the show, however tangentially, to acknowledge something that happens or is mentioned in the Lethbridge Stewart novels.
Yeah,
it's like, that would be so much fun.
Yeah, that would be. It'd be. I mean, that would be a big. Obviously they're writing the Lethbridge Stewart books with permission from the BBC to use the Brigadier and those characters that we do recognize from Unit and all of that. So but
they're also adding in their own new characters, or fleshing out ones that were just one-offs, like Ann Travers and was it Chorley? He's the journalist. Yeah. Mm-hmm. My brain went fuzzy, but So it's like, this is like when the Eighth Doctor said goodbye to his companions in The Night of the Doctor from Big Finish, or the Big Finish companions. It's like, yay, you're connecting all these things. It makes me happy.
Canon. Mm-hmm. We love canon.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Canon is good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, but,
and I just, I mean, I've only gotten to see the episode once, but I think just kind of my overall feeling from this, I mean, okay, so I watched it once, and there were parts I didn't get to pay attention to, because watching TV with the baby is kind of hard sometimes, and you're trying to really focus on things. But just kind of the overall feeling, with a few small nitpicks, and I freely admit they're nits that I'm picking at, that I just kind of feel like that it felt a little more hopeful than I felt like the last season was. Mm-hmm. A little more positive, a little more optimistic, a little more fun. And it's sort of like Steven Moffat is saying, this was what my era was about, and sometimes I didn't quite get it right, which is fair enough. But, he's like, this is kind of what he wants to leave him and Capaldi leaving the series with.
Yeah, it's the legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and I love the fact that it was a Doctor Who story, but at the end of the day, the bad guys were not bad guys. There was no nefarious plot. There was no world to save. It was just the Doctor doctors going on a journey of self-discovery and coming to terms with their regeneration. That was the major conflict. Yeah. I mean, yes, we had a Dalek, but it turned out to be Rusty.
It was a villainous Dalek.
Yeah.
And I had to think, because it took me a minute, because I'd totally forgotten about Rusty, because he was from the second episode of Capaldi's run.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a minute, wasn't that a Matt Smith episode? Oh, wait,
nope,
no.
That was
we got a nod to the Matt Smith when the first Doctor put on the sonic sunglasses. It's like, what's browser history? Like, oh, Doctor, no, take the glasses off.
So, I mean, I fully will admit I love multi-Doctor stories. Mm-hmm. Whether they're TV or they're Big Finish or they're books. I just love whenever the Doctor encounters himself. Because no matter how much the personality changes, the underlying personality is still there. And the sass is just always so strong when the Doctor's with himself.
Yes.
It is
It
so
kind of goes back to
glorious
the
to watch.
idea that you're never more critical with somebody than when you're critical of yourself,
Yes.
especially when you look back at your younger self and all the the goofy, awkward things that you used to do and stuff like that. So, I mean,
I was. Oh, go ahead, Chrissy. I'll let you finish.
Oh, I was just going to say that, I mean, with the first Doctor, I really liked the way they incorporated the footage from 10th Planet
Oh, yeah.
into the
And
story.
I'm so glad I rewatched that Christmas Eve. So that was nice and fresh in my mind. Because even while watching 10th Planet Christmas Eve, knowing that, you know, this is where the first Doctor's coming from, and I was like, well, where exactly in this story are they going to pull him from? They pull him from after the episode is over, but right before the regeneration, so...
Yeah, well,
I think that worked well.
Because William Hartnell was so sick during the filming, like, he's really only in the first episode.
Yeah.
And the second and third, he's gone, and then the fourth, they just kind of prop him up.
Yeah.
Say, okay, you need to regenerate.
Yeah.
More or less. I mean, that's one of the missing ones, so it's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah. But
you just kind of figure, he wandered off and he's trying to hold off his regeneration, and so this is when Twice Upon a Time takes place. Yeah. So, you know, it fits nicely in between there, and I really liked how they made it work with the bookends of the footage on both sides.
Yeah.
Of the episode.
Morphed. Going from the black and white, the actual footage from 10th Planet with William Hartnell, to bringing it into color and using CGI to David Bradley's face, you know, to kind of make that transition into color, and then to right back to it. I'm like, that's really good. So, and I can't quite figure out with David Bradley's face if they just did a really good makeup job, or if they actually use like facial prosthetics, because his face is not that square in real life. I don't think. It almost looks like they may have done some just very minor like facial prosthetics just to fill out his face and make it closer to Hartnell's face shape, because David Bradley actually has like a very slim and a very like slim nose too, I think. I'm basing it off of Game of Thrones, really, because that's the thing I've seen him most recently in. So, yeah.
You know, I do know that there's a behind the scenes video. I haven't gotten to watch it yet because I just watched the episode last night.
Yeah,
I
haven't had a chance to watch the retrospective that aired after, because we had company over. So, but it was just one of those things. I'm like, what have they done to his face? They've done something, and I just can't quite figure out what it is. And I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think it really matters, but it's just one of those things where it's like, they've done something to your face to try to make you look more like William Hartnell. I just can't quite figure what it is. So, which, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm one of those curious folks where I'm like, behind the scenes stuff. So,
yeah. Holly, what were you gonna say? Like,
I was gonna say I loved all the scenery, and that, but then also too with the first Doctor, I had watched the 50th anniversary special not too long ago, and I'm just like, with the War Doctor, I'm just like, yep, his first Doctor was showing quite a bit with the don't use the sonic and all this stuff. Well, it's like, use your own instincts.
Yeah, well, and then, because Jared asked me, like, when did the sonic screwdriver come in? It's like, it wasn't until the second Doctor, so the first Doctor didn't really have it. So that makes sense in fitting in with his character.
Yeah. Well, supposedly that ring, according to Doctor Who Legacy, was a sonic ring.
Ah, okay. But he just did, you know,
it wasn't used it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and even the second Doctor's sonic screwdriver, it was just a pen light, and it only unscrewed screws.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, you know, a full on.
It literally was a screwdriver.
Yeah. It wasn't that fancy.
Yeah. Yeah. No. But hey, he had to get the idea from somewhere, and then he's not obviously he's not going to remember this entire experience, but sometimes that leaves a little implant, and maybe that's where the idea of the sonic screwdriver came from.
Possibly. I mean, something must have stuck with him. Yeah.
Well, the 12th Doctor's kind of note to his next 3 generations, that was just
we'll
awesome.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to get to that emotional.
Well, can I don't mean to bring. I do have to mention this because I like. Okay, because we've seen David Bradley play William Hartnell playing the First Doctor.
Yes.
We've never actually seen him play the First Doctor.
Yeah.
Now, as far as his performance goes, it was great. It was top notch. He did really well.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with his performance. It's the writing.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, no, you're not alone.
Like, the one thing that really bugged me was when he was acting like the Doctor ever had his companions clean the TARDIS, and I'm like, he's never done that.
Yeah.
I'm like, Moffat, when's the last time you watched any First Doctor episodes?
Yeah,
and in any of them, Polly made coffee. Fine, got that. She never cleaned the TARDIS.
No.
Barbara never cleaned the TARDIS. Vicky never cleaned the TARDIS. Susan might have because she's the granddaughter and that's their home and she cleaned her room.
Yes. So,
but
none of the companions. You imagine what kind of clapback the Doctor would have got if he'd asked Sarah Jane to clean the TARDIS.
Yeah.
Like,
although I mean, I don't think we could go. I don't even think Barbara would have taken too kindly to him saying, "Oh, go dust or vacuum or whatever."
Yeah, the portrayal of the First Doctor as this misogynistic kind of like old timey, just like a woman's. Women are such delicate creatures, and they should be dusting and cleaning house. I'm like, the Doctor's never been portrayed like that.
No, and the one thing I missed, and this goes back to writing, is the First Doctor. The First Doctor, yes, he was grumpy and kind of crabby and did some not nice things at the beginning. The First Doctor that I know and love, that I like to harken back to, is especially during when Vicky's there, is and Susan a little bit too, is he's this kindly, kind of mischievous, got the twinkle in his eye, grandfatherly old man.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I kind of missed that in this episode. So I kind of wonder, is like with Moffat, is the First Doctor not his favorite? Does he want to, fixate on, the not what actually happened, but the received fan wisdom of, oh, he was, the 60s, they're sexist, or this, or that, or whatever. And so, like, when I kind of noticed the direction they were going, sorry, Alex is having a moment.
Yeah.
And I noticed the direction they were going, and I was like, please don't say anything inappropriate when Bill shows up, because, and he really didn't up until, and he had that moment where he says, oh, he misses you, and they're like, and then he goes, oh, but yeah, because, this TARDIS is filthy and he needs someone. I'm like, no, you could have just left it at, he really misses you. I'm like, that's the kindly grandfather that he needed to be.
Yeah.
So, I mean, David Bradley did a great performance. I think the writing kind of failed him in this instance.
Yeah. I mean, I kind
it made me sad.
Yeah, I mean, I at the end of the day, I kind of was like, whatever, especially considering it did create some very comedic moments between the First Doctor and Bill, though. So.
Well, yes, it was funny. I just was like, it could have been a little funny in a different way.
Yeah, because I love when they get on the TARDIS and they're talking about women made of glass, and the First Doctor is all like, well, we are, and or Bill said something like, oh, who would want a woman made out of glass? He's like, well, aren't women made of glass? And of course, the soldier from 1914 has got the same ideal, so they're both like chuckling to each other like, oh, very good comment, old chum. And the doctor is all like, he's like, no offense, young lady, but I do have some experience with the fair sex. And Bill's like, yeah, me too. And just the look on their faces, which was, Bill, I love you.
Yeah, that was funny. I did like that line. Yeah. It's just the line, the first Doctor's line before it. I was like, that's not a first Doctor line. That just that seemed out of place. But yes, the setup for the joke was good. It's just, I think it would have been better if like the captain had said it, because he's a new character and we really don't know much about him yet.
Yeah.
So maybe that would have been better coming from him. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like I said, I had nits to pick, and that's one of the nits.
Yeah. That I totally agree with you. The characterization was just, it seemed off.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not David Bradley's fault. That's Steven Moffat.
No, that was writing.
Yeah. I do just want to go back and watch some First Doctor episodes, especially with Vicky. Like, I have the Rescue and the Romans that box set DVD, and the First Doctor is just so sweet and adorable with Vicky, and he's just got the twinkle in his eye and mischief in. And and I feel like sometimes that gets missed when people think of the First Doctor, because he's like, oh, he's just this old cranky guy, and William Hartnell wasn't well, so he was really hard to work with. I'm like, that's not the whole story, guys. Like, let's broaden our perspective a little bit, please.
Yeah.
And he was a little bit of a romantic from the Aztecs, because he almost got himself engaged by offering that.
Yeah. So it's even earlier than that. He was, He kind of reminds me of Yoda, honestly.
Yes, yeah. I was thinking Yoda, the same thing.
Yeah, Yoda before Luke knows who he is, and he's saying, how you get so big eating food of this kind, and whacking R2-D2 like, let go of my thing. Yes. I'm like, that's Yoda and the First Doctor are kind of.
Let me have my lantern. Mine.
They're kind of kindred spirits, I think. And that may be an unpopular opinion among fandom. Fandom can go hang.
Yeah.
Well, they love their comments about their TARDISes, and the Doctor's like, the first says it's wrong. Yours is bigger. I was like, well, after all that time travel, it's got to go somewhere.
Yeah, you try holding it in your stomach for all those
squeezing
years.
into a small thing. Your waist would expand too. Although I did like how Bill was like, when they were getting into the First Doctor's TARDIS, like, she's like, the windows aren't the same size, and the 12th Doctor's going in, and he comes back out, looks at him, and goes back in. All the TARDIS jokes were just so on. They were so wonderful.
Yeah.
And especially the 12th Doctor's going like, oh yeah, why is my TARDIS and your TARDIS and this, and it was a good time.
Yeah. Alex agrees.
Alex does agree. He's kind of being grouchy. He's teething.
Yeah. It's hard growing teeth.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. But think of all the jammy dodgers he'll be able to eat once he gets some teeth.
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
So
anyway.
Yeah. But I think just yeah. I mean, I really don't have any complaints other than, the fact that this was the going out for Capaldi and Moffat, actually. So
this was,
Yeah.
Although I am glad, I will say this for Moffat, because when RTD left, he threw everything in the kitchen sink at his big hurrah. I kind of like how understated this one was.
Yeah.
It was more about the Doctor and what he's done in the past.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it definitely was understated, but at the same time, because I think when we were in the chat while watching the episode, and the sets were, it's beautifully shot.
Oh, I know.
absolutely beautifully shot. I'm like, and they're like, and I don't remember who it was that made a comment. It's like, why haven't episodes look like this in the past? I said, well, Moffat probably figures it's my last go. Blow the entire budget on, making it look really good.
Maybe it's a use it or lose it sort of thing. So like, well, we've got this money. Let's run through it.
Yeah, I think so. That's almost what it felt like. Cause I'm like, I'm not complaining.
And it was so pretty.
Yeah. It was just beautiful.
Well, then even too, getting a little more on the Time War too. That was I wasn't expecting that. That was a nice little touch.
Yeah. And the bit when they're in the ship, the testimony ship, trying to escape. And of course the first Doctor's still not quite sure exactly what's going on, and but they're like you want to see who you become, Doctor, and we get like these globes floating, and you see the previous incarnations. We see the third Doctor and the War Doctor and Tennant and Matt Smith and all that. I'm like, the feels. It's like, oh yeah, we're doing this. We're going down this road. Thank you very much, Steven Moffat. Oh, my heart. My poor little heart. But at the same time, it's like, goosebumps. And it's like, oh, yeah. All the name dropping, the Shadow of the Valyard, the Destroyer of Worlds. It's like, it's like, oh, yeah. It had a kind of a 50th anniversary feel to it.
It sure.
I was like, oh, we're kind of going mini 50th. Okay, Moffat.
Yep.
That's how we're going to do things? Okay. All right. I'm not emotionally prepared for this at all, but okay. I wasn't emotionally prepared for anything. I'm glad, though, that, at the end of the day, this story wasn't really, needing to save the universe. There was no big bad to stop. Just these, this organization that just, found a way to use time travel to essentially record people's memories before they die. And I mean, who wouldn't love to be able to get, video essentially of a loved one after they've passed? A grandparent or, something. You have to be able to talk to them one more time. And that's really what the Doctor got to do is, Capaldi's Doctor, he got to see Bill. It wasn't Bill, it was the memory. It was a living memory of Bill, but it gave him the closure that I guess he really needed to convince him to regenerate and not die, and then that in turn helped the first Doctor decide to go ahead and regenerate and not, totally erase everything that we've come to know and love. And that also gave him his memories of Clara back. So we got, one last goodbye from Jenna. So.
Yeah. I mean, and well, going into this, I hoped that they would have a little cameo from Clara, just because it seems like all the other Doctors have gotten, their callbacks from their companions, or a little visit from them or something.
Yeah.
So I was glad that they got Jenna to just do that one little bit, especially because I didn't really like the way Clara was left, like she's dead but not really.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. So it just kind of felt like a cheat. So, and then the Doctor didn't remember her, so that didn't sit well with me.
And the thing is if the people, the beings or whatever within testimony are able to call upon the memories of anyone that they have gotten the memories from, because Bill said, Bill and Nardole, because Nardole, we got to see Nardole too. And, they said they could be anyone, really. And so, therefore, they were able to give the Doctor his memories of Clara back. They would have had to have the memories from Clara in the first place. So, does that mean off screen that Clara and Lady Me are no longer running around, that Clara has gone back to her death?
Possibly, but they were in a time machine, so they could have been traveling for hundreds of years.
Well,
and
yeah, but I'm just
going
saying
back.
the way that the gal explained how the organization works is they go to the person the moment before their death, but Clara's already been pulled from that moment.
Right.
So how would they have an image of her and memories of her if she is not in that moment for them to go and get the memories from?
Unless the testimony knew about the doctor, maybe they did a memory scan and were able to pull memories of Clara. But
maybe she could have finally said, okay, I need to go back, and she finally did die. Which,
yeah,
I guess has to happen at some point.
Yeah, and see, that's one of those things where it's like, Moffat, you're leaving us with questions.
Mm-hmm.
You're no longer showrunner.
And he's like, yes, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving you with closure. I'm just leaving. Because that's what he does best. He leaves us
it's like,
questions.
did we really expect there to be definitive answers to everything by
Well,
the time he left?
but now I've still got questions. And he's not showing anyone answers.
This is what it is. He's left in holes for Big Finish to fill in.
Yes.
Yes.
Or
That's
candy
kind of
jar
been
books,
his
or
thing.
he's leaving.
Mr. Biggs, please get on that.
Yes.
Yes. Or maybe he doesn't really know how to end it, and he's thinking, well, maybe someone else can do this. Here, Big Finish, you take it from here.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But that's the way Moffat is. Can't tie everything up in a neat little bow. So I did like
that is true.
Yeah, I did like the first Doctor kept saying, life is, at the end, is never a fairy tale, and I'm like, well, but Moffat certainly tried.
I was thinking
That's kind of his MO, is the fairy tale thing.
Yeah, and I kept every time he said that, I kept saying, like, I was like, yeah, but we could definitely use a few fairy tales now, couldn't we?
Yeah.
Especially with the Doctor, with Capaldi leaving, and the whole the changing of the guard coming in and going on.
And I love Bill, that Bill as a companion is always, and this was something that Moffat told us when they introduced Bill to us before the season started, is like, Bill is going to ask questions that no companion has ever asked before. And even in this, she did, when she's talking to the first Doctor and how he stole a TARDIS and ran away from Gallifrey, she didn't ask him what he was running from. She asked him what he was running to.
I know. When she asked that, I'm just like, wow.
Yeah. I was like, that's brilliant.
A great question.
And a really good question.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy just to look at Gallifrey and be like, oh yeah, the stuffy Time Lords and their funny hats and that's easy. That's an easy answer there, but it's like, okay, what are you going to replace it with in your life? Because you can't just say, oh, I don't want to do this anymore and run off. It's like, you have to have something to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just sitting in the TARDIS staring at the wall going, what do we want to do today?
Yeah.
I don't know what you want to do.
Yeah. And it becomes,
I don't know what you want to do.
It becomes the vultures from the Jungle Book.
Yep. Don't stop that again.
Yeah, I don't know what you want to do. So, I guess we should talk about the ending.
Yeah, I mean, as fun as this episode was, it has to end.
I don't like it.
And after that beautiful depiction of the Christmas truce of 1914, and we're already like getting all snippily over that.
Like,
and then the Doctor goes into the TARDIS and starts recording a message.
Yeah. doing what the doctors have been doing the last few regenerations, where they got to give some grandiose speech, which is, in character. It's almost the doctor convincing himself that it'll be okay to regenerate. That the next person, the next doctor to come along is not. They'll continue the good work and that sort of thing. But at the same time, it's also, in a way, it's the actor saying goodbye to the role, and it's also a way to say to the fans, because there's people that I'm sure are happy that Capaldi's not the Doctor anymore, that they weren't happy with him. Then you have people like me who have been dreading this for months since Capaldi announced he was leaving, and I was ready with a roll of toilet paper to blow my nose because I'd be crying, and a big old bottle of vodka because I did not want him to go.
Yeah. Well, and I kind of like the idea in universe that no matter how many times the Doctor's done this. I mean, because we're on the 13, 14 if you're strictly counting the War Doctor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But no matter how many times he does this, it is still scary for him, and it's still you're stepping off the cliff, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
What you're gonna do. So he has to convince himself that it's gonna be fine. And I think maybe seeing the first Doctor, and then 12 thinks, oh wow, yeah, I've done this so many times, and things have been okay. So
well, and 2, it kind of shocked him that he didn't remember when 12 bumps into the first Doctor. He's just like, well, wait a minute, if you decide just to die, that means
he's not going to exist.
I'm not going to exist, so we gotta.
Yeah, I gotta convince you to regenerate. It's okay.
Right.
I mean, at least the first Doctor had kind of a good excuse, because that's the body he's been in. That's the only body he's been in since a child.
Yeah.
He's never regenerated before. And I'm like, he probably knows how it works in theory and has probably seen people on Gallifrey regenerate. So he's got an idea of it in principle. But it's one of those things where it's like, until you do it for yourself, it's like driving a car for the first time, or getting a tooth pulled, or, something. It's like, in theory,
or if I may, having a baby.
Yeah, it's like until you experience it for yourself, you really have no idea what it's like. So that first regeneration, I could almost understand why he was so afraid.
Mm-hmm.
Just because he had no idea what the outcome was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So,
or if he'd even be the same sort of person, if he'd be a complete lunatic or whatever.
Because I mean, regenerations do go wrong.
Oh yeah,
No, it can't happen, unfortunately. So, I'm sure he didn't want to end up being that statistic. Being the regeneration that goes wrong. So,
and especially where he was, on the South Pole, and pretty much nobody's there who could help him. Like, okay, yeah, Ben and Polly were there, but they don't know what's going on.
Nope.
And it's not like, I mean, then if you go back and watch the 10th Planet, they do try to help. 10th Planet into Power of the Daleks, and they're trying to figure it out, and they're just kind of like, bumbling along with the rest of us, because they're like, do your best, I guess.
Yeah.
There's no instruction manual to how to deal with the Time Lord who is near regeneration.
Yeah.
Here is what you do.
Yeah.
Here is what you don't do.
Yeah. There's no manual on this.
Or maybe there was, and dear old Doctor tossed it out of the TARDIS along with the
TARDIS instruction manual, maybe.
Right.
It's right. It's, there's there's what to expect when you're expecting. There's no what to expect when your Time Lord regenerates.
A few years ago, and I'd be hard pressed to find it again, but someone mocked up this little pamphlet thing of like, what to do. Your Time Lord is regenerating. Now what? And there was a picture of the Third Doctor and Sarah Jane, when the Third Doctor's about to regenerate, and Sarah Jane's looking all concerned and nurturing, and the Third Doctor is looking weak and reaching up for her. And it's very tongue in cheek sort of thing. Don't feed him pears.
Yeah.
Make sure make sure he has access to the TARDIS. Don't let him go through the costume wardrobe on his own, because then you end up with the Sixth Doctor. And there was a whole list of other things. Like I said, it was a while ago, but yeah, there's no pamphlet for that actually in the TARDIS, although maybe there should be.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Or don't let him drive the TARDIS while regenerating. Again.
Yeah, seriously.
Because as we see,
yeah,
soon enough.
seriously.
Yeah.
If the Doctor knows he's going to regenerate, land the TARDIS somewhere and walk about 100 yards away.
Yes.
Preferably in an open area.
Somewhere. Do it the way the Fifth Doctor did, I guess, but don't go straight back to the TARDIS, because then Tegan's going to have to drive, and that didn't turn out well.
Yeah. So, because the poor TARDIS interior, once again, completely destroyed.
That poor library.
Yeah.
I know. It's like, why do we have to destroy the TARDIS every time a regeneration happens?
It's a way to justify a new console.
Well, yeah, that's
probably.
True. But it's like that when the Ninth Doctor regenerated, there was just a shower of sparks, and his hair got longer, and David Tennant pops up and is like, trying to figure out his teeth.
Yeah, well, it's probably because he wasn't holding it off. I think the more he holds it off, the more violent it ends up becoming. So
yeah, because I was showing Jared the because after we finished watching it, he's like, "Is that the first time that it's crashed after regeneration?" I'm like, "No, from 10 to 11, he crashed and blew up everything." I had to look up the end of time and the beginning of the 11th hour to show him, look, same thing happened.
Yeah. Well, and it sort of crashed after 11 regenerated into 12, but then it got swallowed by a dinosaur, and then it didn't matter.
Well, that's true. After 12 commented on the color of his kidneys, it's like, how do you fly this thing?
Yeah, but between him and Clara, they kind of figured it out. But,
and then he ended up getting swallowed by a dinosaur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which happens every now and then.
Yep.
Yeah. But at least the Doctor has always been inside the TARDIS as it's crashing. Unlike this time around, where she falls out while in mid-flight. She's going one way, the TARDIS is going the other.
Matt Smith was hanging on the outside for dear life when
that's true.
But they stayed attached at least, and they were going the same direction. This time they're going opposite direction. So it'll be interesting, because I've seen people say jokes like, "Oh, now the Doctor's a woman and she can't drive," and I'm just like, okay, come on. No,
they've crashed TARDIS before.
Yeah, the TARDIS crashes a lot, actually.
Yeah, with or without regeneration. I had one group that was bringing it up, and I was just kind of like, wait a minute. About half the time, the Doctor crashes the TARDIS, whether or not he's regeerating. Yeah. So this is not an issue.
Yes, it had nothing to do with his gender.
And River has even pointed out that groaning thing is because the Doctor left the parking brake on.
Yes.
Yep.
I like that noise. That is a brilliant noise.
Yes. Regardless of what River may say, leave the brake on. So
the brake is cool.
Yeah. But I as far as the regeneration is concerned, it was a regeneration. I just, it was sad to see.
I don't know what to say yet.
It's definitely, regardless of the gender change, there is a significant difference in the eyebrows.
Yes. No attack eyebrows. They're tame.
Yeah. Although the eyelashes.
Well,
yes. Mascara goes a long way, but the eyelashes are what I noticed. So maybe now it's attack eyelashes.
Maybe, I don't know, but just immediately the eyebrows. I'm like, oh, no more attack eyebrows.
I'll miss those eyebrows and the hair. Oh, there was one moment, and I can't remember where it is. I'd have to go back and freeze frame it, where Capaldi, and maybe it was during the regeneration, he bent down or something, and he had this stance. He looks so much like John Pertwee with the hair and the suit coat and everything.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I like this.
Yeah.
Well, and two, when 12 generated into 13, just when she brought one of the view screens, she just takes a look, grins, and says, "Brilliant." It's like, okay, she's not freaking out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, she's like, this is a change.
11
Cool.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And uh-oh.
I like Matt Smith's doctor when he thought he was a girl and he starts to freak out like, I'm a girl. He's like, no, wait.
Yeah.
This time around, you are a girl.
Higher pitched voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, wait, no.
Yeah.
No.
But for better or for worse, whether you're happy about it or not, Jodie is here. So
yeah.
She is now
you know
the
what?
doctor.
People were unhappy when Peter showed up. People were unhappy when Matt showed up. There might have been people unhappy when David showed up. It's just the way it goes, and it's nothing to do with the gender.
Yeah.
Yep. The cycle continues.
Yeah.
This happens all
Very
the
much
time.
so.
There were people that were mad showed up because Tom Baker was leaving. I mean, good grief, guys. We do this every time.
Yes. We've been doing this for 50-some plus years.
Yes. Now, and like I said, I'm still kind of waiting on tenterhooks on how this is going to go, and it's all down. I'm a little leery of the showrunner. Now, I'm hoping that Chris Chibnall, proves me wrong, or that my worries are unfounded. It's just I haven't been that impressed with his Doctor Who, but maybe he's better as a showrunner than as a writer. I don't know.
Right.
There's just a lot of question marks right now, and they're not all on Sylvester McCoy's sweater.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Or the end of his brawly.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but I'm giving it a shot.
Yeah.
Because that's
whenever it comes
what
back.
you do. Yes, whenever they decide to say, hey, this is what we're doing.
Yeah. It's still got to come back first, unfortunately.
Yeah, you actually have to have something to see to judge it by. But I am interested to see what they do.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I mean, I can't say I hate what I've seen so far. The 2 minutes of Jodie's doctor that we got.
Came on the scene. It was like, well, he regenerated and ranted about eyebrows and kidneys. That's all I know.
Yeah.
And then now we're here at the end of his run, and we're like, we really miss him.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing. It's just change is hard. So.
Yeah. It really is. No matter what you're talking about, anything that changes, you're like, okay, we're gonna do this. Yeah. Although I had to laugh because I think Peter was on, I think it was Graham Norton, not fairly recently,
probably,
and he was making a joke about how he hadn't sworn in 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
So now he can start using the F word again.
Yeah. Peter probably got home or got into his car after filming for the very last time and just let out a whole slew of explicitives, obviously I can't say them on this show, but insert your favorite British, naughty words here.
Yeah. Although I do have to say, I will say this because and every Doctor we see, there's videos of the actors that play the Doctor doing things in public and meeting fans and different things like that, and Matt Smith did really well, especially with little kids. David Tennant, is very gracious. And Peter Capaldi, I think, has just been a class act all the way through.
Oh, yeah.
And he's been, and part of that joke, it was kind of tongue-in-cheek when he said that on the chat show, but it was like, he realized that, that he's an ambassador for the show, that he has a certain persona, and especially kids know him as the Doctor. So, he's very careful to cultivate that personality and that image, and you don't want to disappoint the kids especially, and I'm just like, and that speaks to his love and respect for the role and for the show and what it means, and it's like he realizes he's only a temporary caretaker of this, and he, wants to leave it better, as good or better than when he found it. And I think he's done a fantastic job, and I love the hashtag that's been going around. Thank you, Peter, because for sure, definitely, I'm just like, he's been great. Sometimes the scripts did not support him very well, and that's unfortunate. But as far as being the Doctor on screen and off, I have nothing but good things to say about Peter Capaldi. So for sure, definitely, thank you, Peter, for
thank you.
being the Doctor. And definitely gonna miss him.
Yeah.
Me too. Big Finish, get him on contract. Get him on retainer, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, get some stories for him. I mean, I don't know how long they have to wait before they get the license for 11 and 12 stories.
Right.
But oof.
But if we are, go ahead, finish.
I was just gonna say, just get some stuff ready. Get some stuff in the pipeline ready to go, and whenever Peter's available, get him in the studio. Get some good stuff, because I think he would be awesome on audio.
Oh yeah.
Because there are some 12th Doctor audio stories that aren't voiced by him, but Nicola Bryant has done some, and she can do a good impersonation of the 12th Doctor. And then Dan Starkey as well, today, called The Rhythm of Destruction. And Dan Starkey did his voice, and it was, a perfect impersonation of the Doctor, 12. And then Death Among the Stars, I think, was the other one. Oops, sorry. Death Among the Stars, yep.
Okay. Yeah, because I think I listened to one that Nicola Bryant did, and it was really good. It was just, I think it was like the middle of a trilogy, so I was a little bit lost.
Or a quadrilogy, yeah. Because there was like there was the Lost, Magic Lost, Flame Lost, Angel, and then Lost Planet, and then there was the House of Winter, the Gods of Winter, and the Memory of Winter, and the Sins of Winter. And I highly recommend those trilogies or quadrilogies.
I have the Lost Planet, and I just, because there was like a sale or something a while ago on iTunes, and it's like, here, you can get this for $2. I'm like, sold, and I picked it up and I started listening to it. I'm like, wait a minute, I've missed something. Then I looked it up, like, oh, this is like second or third in the series, or something.
But I've listened to all of them, and fantastic. So if you can pick up the other ones,
yeah, I'm gonna have to look into it.
Yeah.
But I want to. Finances are a bit tight nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I do. I mean, I'm sure Peter is an in-demand actor for other projects as well, and so it might be a little tough to get him.
He's in the new Paddington movie, I think.
I saw that, and I'm like, I need to see him.
I saw the trailer, and there's just he's in it real quick in the trailer. He's like a police constable or something. I'm like, wait a minute, is that Peter Capaldi?
He was in the first one, which I think came out.
I haven't seen the first one.
He was announced as the Doctor, but before he actually started filming.
Yeah, I think so.
So that's why Doctor Who was delayed, so he could film the new Paddington movie.
in Paddington, sure.
Peter, really? No, just kidding.
It's for the kids.
I know, it's for the kids. So.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I will say this episode did, as sad as it was, and I got a little emotional, this episode did make me feel better about, moving on to the next Doctor, and not just that, but just kind of, I mean, I don't know how you guys have felt just about the last couple of years, and, maybe you guys, maybe it's just me and, like, my personal life and things that have been going on behind the scenes, but it's kind of been a rough couple of years, last little bit, and I was like, I can't take another change. I can't take another, thing for people to complain about and bash on or whatever it is. And it's like, I need something hopeful and happy. And I kind of feel like, okay, this brought it back.
Yeah.
And, whatever happens in the next series, I kind of feel like this was the palate cleanser for that. So I'm like, okay, let's keep the good vibes flowing, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess it's a little bit feeling like after the 50th anniversary, and you're like, oh, this feels like it's the end of all things. What are we gonna do? And then Peter Capaldi came on, and like when they were filming, and there were bits of there were clips of him filming floating around the internet, and I was like, okay, Doctor Who's gonna continue on, and we're gonna be fine. So
that's
I felt better.
Yeah, that's one thing that I wondered if we would see in this special, is if we would finally see like the full version of that Doctor's incarnation showing up to save Gallifrey in the 50th anniversary special, because we haven't seen that. We haven't seen where in his timelines where he gets the call to come save Gallifrey with all of his other incarnations, and I was kind of hoping maybe we'd see that, but nope, not the case. But save it for the 60th anniversary special, maybe, or something. Who knows?
Which you think about, it's like that's not too far off either, and it's like, really?
Nope, it's not.
We need time to slow down, for crying out loud.
Yeah, it seems like it was just Easter Saturday, and now we've had Christmas special, and it's like.
Well, I mean, this year with Thanksgiving falling on the 23rd of November, I was like, oh my gosh, that was 4 years ago, was the 50th anniversary, the time needs to stop moving so quickly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, and I the other day I realized that there's 2 months until my baby is half a year old, and he's getting so big, and I'm like, I don't like this. Stop it.
Time flies.
Stop
when
being
you're
so big.
Time flies when you're binging.
This is true.
TV shows and working and all sorts of things. So, but yeah, it was a beautiful send off. I will give it that. As much as I, complain and moan, it's first world fandom problems. It's like, oh, my doctor is leaving. Oh, it's like, oh, woe is me. Meanwhile, there's starving children in Africa. It's like, shut up, me.
Well, you still feel something about it's a friend leaving, even though you've never met him in person, but still.
Not yet. Eventually.
Not yet.
One of these days.
Hopefully he makes the convention rounds and
in the U.S. close to me. Eventually. Oh yeah.
He's done a few.
Yes.
But not.
Well, now that he's free, he can do more. So. Peter, whenever you want to come to Indiana, you're more than welcome. I'll be there
for Salt Lake
with bells on. So, but yeah, it was a beautiful send off. So all things considering,
I need to watch it again.
Yeah, I watched it twice.
And baby on my lap.
Yeah, I watched it twice, and I think I'm gonna need a little bit of time before I can watch it again. So.
Mm-hmm. Is anyone going to see it? What was it tonight? Was the thing on the big screen?
Tonight and tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow. Okay.
Yep. So, which actually the movie theater that we went to, surprisingly enough, to go see Last Jedi, was showing it tonight. So I was like, oh, if I didn't have to record the podcast, I could just stay and watch Doctor Who again. But at the same time, I don't think I'm quite emotionally ready to watch it again, and especially in a group of probably other fans and cry in public. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're all doing the same thing. I mean, they would just be passing the tissues up and down the road.
Yeah, I can't drink in the movie, although this movie theater did have a bar, so I guess I could drink while watching.
You're like, another shot, bartender.
Yes,
keep it
please.
coming.
It's like the regeneration's coming. Fill me up. I need another one, but no.
Anyway, well, it was a good send off for Peter Capaldi and Steven Moffat, and you know, we will miss them, and we are looking forward to what comes next.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we'll see what happens when it comes.
Yeah. I'd mentioned this in the chat too, because I think Brittany had said something about the music, I think. And I thought I'd read somewhere that Murray Gold is actually done too.
Yeah, he is.
He's leaving as well.
I don't remember where I saw it, but it was, I think, well, it must have been BBC or something quoting BBC.
Yeah.
Fairly reliably, but it said, yeah, Murray Gold was done. So
yeah.
It's even brand new music for the first time since the revival.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
See who they get. Although they have had, his name's Ben Foster, I want to say.
Yep. He's did kind of the Torchwood stuff. Yep.
Yeah, so he's kind of been like the deputy second assistant, whatever, to Murray Gold. That's so good. You know, he's I don't know if that's him that's doing it. I'd have to look it up and see who they've got to do the music, if there is somebody. But yeah, there's new blood all over the place.
Yeah.
That sounded wrong.
Yeah, but I think they will transition at least a little, so because I think probably some of the writers will see some repeat writers probably pop up again. Mark Gatiss will probably continue to write an episode here and there.
Yeah.
So Rachel Talle will probably direct again at some point. So
yeah, she seems to be on the regular rotation.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're not completely cleaning house. Mm-hmm. Which I think is good, because I think they cleaned house quite a bit more when RTD left.
Yeah. So it's good to have a few people stay on, but it's also good to have some new talent come in and and shake things up a bit.
Yeah.
Because you know, like you said, I mean, there were some times when I thought the writing failed Peter Capaldi more, and I think it could do with some new ideas.
Yeah.
As well, which you know, that's what Doctor Who's about. You change things up, and if someone stays a little too long, it gets a little stale. But that it's built into the show's premise, is that they switch up the cast, they switch up the crew, they switch up the showrunners, and then that's how the show continues to operate.
Yep.
Anyway. Into 2018 we go.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. New year, new Doctor, new showrunner.
Yeah. This is most likely the last episode of the podcast we're recording this year, correct?
Yes, and this is more than likely the last episode of 5-ish Fangirls for 2017. So we will
all new.
We will be back.
We'll still be here, but
yeah. I mean, we'll be back next week at some point, because again, with the holiday falling on a Monday, essentially, it does throw things in whack, because I'll more than likely be traveling on New Year's Day, so we may, it'd probably be Tuesday at the earliest when we'll record again, but we'll finally get around talking Last Jedi, so those that have been anxiously waiting.
I finally got to see it yesterday, and I will give my thoughts.
We will give our thoughts. Our soapboxes will be at the ready, but maybe not for the reason you think. So we'll
maybe for different reasons.
Yes.
I don't know what you're specifically referring to. Although I do have a few soapboxes of my own.
Oh yeah, yes.
But also good things to say. So don't think I'm gonna trash on completely on everything.
So we will be back next episode. First up being Star Wars: Last Jedi, and then the week after that we will do our fandom year in review for 2017. So.
It's been a busy month.
It has been. It's been a very busy month. Star Wars and Doctor Who and librarians and all sorts of fandom stuff.
It's either feast or famine. We either go months without anything set to talk about, or we have months where there's like 5 things every week we've got to discuss. So that's just how it is. And thank you, listeners, for hanging with us, and thank you again for closing out another year with the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And we appreciate all of you for listening, for supporting us, whether it's through Patreon or through subscribing or buying stuff from the Amazon store or sending in feedback or simply just following us on Facebook. You guys are awesome.
Yes.
So
Very
here's
much
to
so.
a new year.
Yep.
And speaking of which, yes, dear. My child is very excited about something.
He's getting teeth. He's like, look, Mom, teeth, chompers.
I got teeth. Well, he doesn't even like semi-solid food yet, so we're working on that.
We'll get there.
Anyway,
Right, Vicky.
We'll get there.
we'll get there. But,
We'll teach
anyway,
you.
if you want to send in Doctor or Peter Capaldi or Jodie Whittaker or anything else fandom related, you can send us feedback through our email address, which is 5ishfangirls@gmail.com. Visit us on Facebook. Visit us at our website, which is the5ishfangirls.com.
Mm-hmm.
And that has our links to all our social media and Patreon and our Amazon store. So if you got any gift cards for Christmas and you want to buy something from Amazon, totally go there through our website and we'll get a little referral bonus, and that helps us support the podcast. And also find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Radio, and Google Play, and YouTube, and all those other fine social media type places.
Yep.
And Happy New Year, everybody.
Yes, Happy New Year.
Everyone have a
Celebrate
safe
safely and have fun.
and happy New Year. Don't do anything we wouldn't do. And don't do anything we would do. Take the Tony Stark approach. There's a little gray area. That's where you operate.
Yes. Don't open the new year with a trip to the emergency room.
Yep.
Just
Whatever you decide to do during the new year, do it safely and carefully, and we will
yes, indeed.
catch you all in 2018. So with that, for the last time for 2017, we shall sign off.
Bethlehem saying good night and good New Year.
This is Chrissy and Alex saying goodnight from Salt Lake City and Happy New Year.
This is Holly from Wisconsin saying good evening and have a Happy New Year.
This is Rachel in South Bend, Indiana, currently. Have a Happy New Year. And remember, laugh hard, run fast, and be kind. You have been listening to the 5-ish Fangirls podcast. Any and all movies, books, games, and other forms of media mentioned are owned and operated by the respective copyright holders. No copyright infringement is intended or implied.